A film about domestic violence made on a full of abuse allegations. They hired a man who once described himself as a hired man. Sony executives called her a terrorist, then praised her on opening night. 2 weeks before it began, they settled. The story isn't over. It just moved somewhere they can't unseal. August 2024, It Ends With Us opens in theaters. The film makes $350 million at the box office on a reported $25 million budget. By every measure, it is a triumph. But on the red carpet, something is visibly wrong. The director is barely present. The cast has gone silent on social media. The two leads will not stand together. Within a week, the story starts leaking. Then the lawsuits begin. Then the text messages. Then the deposition. And what gets pulled into the lights is not celebrity feud. It is documented blueprint for how power operates in Hollywood and how women who speaks up get handled. To understand what this case actually is about, you need to start before the cameras rolled. It Ends With Us is a novel about women who escape an abusive relationship. It sold millions of copies. It resonated with survivors around the world. When the film rights were acquired, it carried enormous cultural weight. Blake Lively was cast as the lead. Justin Baldoni, actor, director, self-described men's wellness advocate, was cast opposite her and set to direct. Principal photography began in May 2023 in Hoboken, New Jersey. Within a month, something has fractured between the two leads so severely it would not to be repaired. Co-star Jenny Stale wrote in private messages that the shoot had been really gross and disturbing shoot, and that she was one of many she felt that way. She and Lively both raised concern directly with Sony. Sony's own executive acknowledged those complaints weren't treated as sexual harassment, concerns warranting HR involvement. A film about escaping abuse, a set where abuse complaints were being quietly absorbed. The irony was not lost on anyone, but it wouldn't become public for over a year. When Blake Lively formally filed her complaint in late 2024, she alleged that what followed was a coordinated, professional operation designed to destroy her reputation before she could destroy his. The documents that eventually became public told a specific story. Court documents revealed that Baldoni's production company, Wayfarer Studios, paid social media consultant Jed Wallace $90,000 for a 3-month contract. Wallace had once described himself on LinkedIn as a hired gun, with a proprietary formula for defining artists and trends. A source familiar with Wallace's hiring stated his team could use anonymous accounts to push pro-Baldoni stories and engage in online debates with actress's fans. This is the part the internet missed while arguing about floral and press tours, while millions of viewers were organically turned against Blake Lively on TikTok, mocking her tone, questioning her motives, labeling her difficult. There was a paid professional infrastructure operating the same space. Anonymous accounts, coordinated narratives, a social media consultant on 90,000 retainers. You were not just watching public opinion, you were watching public opinion being manufactured. January 2026, a federal judge orders hundreds of case exhibits unsealed. What gets released is not just an evidence. It is a window into how Hollywood actually operates when the cameras are off. Text messages between Lively and Taylor Swift were unsealed, revealing how Swift encouraged Baldoni to accept Lively's rewrite of scene and how to strategized about using Swift's music in the trailer as a form of leverage. Unsealed messages showed Rihanna Knowles contacting industry power broke Ari Enamel, requesting he go full Ari on Baldoni, referencing Enamel's notoriously aggressive communication style. Both sides were mobilizing their networks, both sides were leveraging relationships, access, and influence to shape the narrative. But most revealing messages didn't come from either camp. They came from Sony. Despite the studio's public support for Blake Lively, unsealed messages shows Sony's executive VP of communications wrote that Lively has orchestrated all the drama in total unsavvy an immature way, basically threatened Sony and now is mad it backfired on her. These are the some executives who, when the film opened began, showered lively with praise, pointing to her blood, sweat and tears in every frame. Publicly your champion, privately your enemy. This is not hypocrisy. This is a standard operating procedure. The trial was set for May 18, 2026. Jury selection was scheduled. The world was ready. 2 weeks before it began, the parties reached a settlement, ending the legal battle before it just could pay out publicly. The terms were not immediately disclosed. Lively's lawyer called it as resounding victory. Baldoni's attorney said his client was ecstatic. Both sides claimed to have won. Both sides went white. But here is what the settlement did not resolve. Under the terms of agreement, Lively retains all claims and remedies connected to her pending motion for attorney's fees, treble damages, and her rights under California Protecting Survivors from Weaponized Defamation Lawsuits Act. That law, introduced in 2023, was designed specifically to hold powerful people accountable for using litigation as a weapon against those who speak up. And under this settlement, Baldoni and every individual dependent now face personal liability for potentially abusing the legal system to silence and intimidate Lively. This is not over. The settlement was not a wall, it was a door. Here is what this case was never really about. It was not about Blake Lively's press tour tone. It was not about florals. It was not about whether you like her personality or his Instagram posts for vulnerability. It was about documented system that gets activated when a woman in Hollywood raises a formal complaint against a powerful man. The PR firm, the anonymous accounts, the social media consultant, the coordinating narrative, the studio that signs, then privately calls you terrorist for asking for it. This system exists before this case. The same crisis PR firm implicated in Lively's case had previously worked on the Johnny Depp defamation trial. The campaign that turned public opinion decisively against Amber Heard. The tactics were not invented for Blake Lively. They were deployed on Blake Lively. And the reason this case matters beyond the celebrities, beyond the headlines, is that most of the women this system is used against are not famous enough to fight back. They don't have Ryan Reynolds texting Ari Newell. They don't have Taylor Swift in their contacts. They just gave an NDA and career that quietly disappears. The Lively Baldoni case pulled back the curtain on industry mechanism that runs constantly at every level, mostly in silence. The settlement means the courtroom goes dark, but the documents are already public. The texts are already unsealed. The $90,000 contract is already in the record. And now you know it exists. It Ends With Us was a story about women who finally found the courage to live. The real story behind it is about what happens when a woman refuses to stay quiet. The film made $350 million. The people who made it are still fighting, and the system that turned a workplace complaint into a war culture is still running somewhere right now on someone you have never heard of. That's what Hollywood doesn't want you to know.